All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army Match Week 0. We got a new intro that you just heard, and we're switching up some of the little things, episode descriptors, which are symptomatic of some changes, or dare I say, improvements that we are putting in place behind the scenes here at Sam's Army. Make this the one-stop shop, the place for American soccer fans. Now, for this week's episode, we got a good one for you. We're going to start out with our annual 2024-25 Premier League season preview with tons of premature predictions that you guys can all laugh at us about later. And then we'll finish up as always with stoppage time with having Tony's best bets, and everybody's favorite segment goes. Then stay tuned for a chat with great friend of the program, Timmy Parker, who had some things to say about the trade and how it went down between St. Louis and New England. So stay tuned for that. You do not want to miss it. Now let's get down to business. Season previewing. Here we go. Let's start by welcoming in this week's distinguished panel of beauties. We got the whole squad here. It always feels good. You guys look good, feel good. Let's talk good. This week, I'm asking you the same intro question, all of you. So put your little thinking caps on, nice and tight. This past weekend, I attended a high school reunion up in Madison. So it just got me thinking. Tyler, start with you. What is your philosophy on attending high school reunions? Do you attend none of them, all of them, just the big ones?
I think the really big ones, I have not been able to attend any of mine so far, either the 5 or the 10, just for sheer scheduling purposes. My crew did. I was the only one of my crew who did not, and they said it was horrible and that they shouldn't have gone. But anyway, yeah, I think it's the big ones if you can, but not at the top of the list of things to do. Maybe like I'll go to the 50-year one and that will be it if I live that long.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mitchell Goulet, aka Overtime Mitch. What are your thoughts here on high school reunions?
I've only had one, a 5-year one, and I didn't. I probably should have. Now I'm showing my age compared to the rest of you guys. So yeah, I think go.
Uh-oh. Am I the only one that's losing, Mitch?
No, he's choppy.
Don't
He's
don't
choppy.
pick me.
Overtime Studios. Mid.
Overtime
Oh,
doesn't
am I?
have
All right, that's yeah,
Mid.
it is.
overtime doesn't have internet there.
Dude, no, we don't. Fucking shit Wi-Fi.
Spending
I'll find a new
too much
place.
money on those overtime FC kits.
Fucking don't get
shipping.
me started.
Next day shipping. All right, he's working on the internet. Mikey, you're up next. Mikey Fowler, aka Mikey Podcast. High school reunion, yay or nay?
Nay, never. Don't go.
Never. Okay, fair enough. I think that speaks to your high school experience probably just a little bit there. Tommy McGunner, you haven't had too many high school reunions, kind of like Mitch Goulet, but what are your thoughts here?
Well, I went to 4 different high schools, so I think that sums up how I feel about those.
Okay.
And I graduated from IMG Academy. I was part of the U.S. national team residency program for those nerds out there that would dig deep and actually know what I'm. But I feel like we'll never have one. Like it just won't even be on offer. So,
An IMG Academy reunion?
I'm sure
So,
those exist. Those for sure exist, but
So Tommy, when you were like making out with a girl or something like that, you perpetually were just saying, "Oh, she goes to a different school." That was you every time.
yeah.
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 When you were telling your friends about your
never went to school with girls.
That's all right. That's just a ready-made excuse. I wish I had that for
Yeah.
not getting any loving in high school. All right, let's get to the previewing here. 2024-25 season starts this weekend, actually starts on Friday. So buckle up, folks. Let's start with the at the top, near the top anyway. So, coming off of City's 115th championship in a row or so. Everybody thinks that they are the favorites going into the season. I'll just give you the quick sort of lay of the land on odds. City's at plus 125 to win the title this season. Arsenal next plus 180. Liverpool plus 700. Kind of a big jump there. Chelsea is fourth highest odds, plus 2,000. United 2,200. Tottenham 2,500, Newcastle 3,300, and then Aston Villa 5,000. Obviously, it goes down from there. So, Michael Fowler, Mikey Fowler.
Yeah.
How many of these teams would you consider to be actual contenders for the title?
3.
Top 3.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to lay a future between Arsenal and City, those odds are not enough for you to feel any form of payment back for what is genuinely at this point a crapshoot. You're one twist away, one injury away from a lot of these teams falling out of contention. And for the amount of money you'd have to lay for a future to be significant enough to worry for you, if you're just talking gambling purposes, there's only one team that's worth the spend right now.
So Liverpool would be, if you were going to bet on any of them, it'd be Liverpool.
I agree with that. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Tommy, how many teams are contenders? Do you agree with 3?
Yeah, I'm actually like word for word the same for with Mikey. I think everyone's going to say it's 2 between Arsenal and City, and I don't think at this moment it's worth changing up the status quo in your bet for who's going to win the league. I think Liverpool has great value for it, although I don't think they're going to win it. I'm just going to say it's City.
Okay. Tyler?
I think in theory, yes, I agree with everything that they're saying. In terms of value, and like, I think that this season is way more open than people are giving it credit for. I think that the City decline is going to start this year, and you'll see in my predictions in the next couple of segments that we're about to do. I think Spurs are really good value, and I would throw them in there as a possible contender.
Listen,
You can just give me the money.
Fringe contender. Don't you have money to spend on Taylor Swift tickets or something, Mikey? Get out of here.
I will take your bet.
Just cash out after March and you'd be okay.
I actually really like that pick. I mean, it's obviously, it sounds like
You
a
do?
homer pick coming from me. I love Spurs starting 11. What I'm scared about, and we'll get into this obviously, is that once you get past that, I don't know. We'll see. And we've just had a sort of a rough go of injuries, but I love you throwing them in the mix in a title contender. I agree. I actually think that they are a fringe contender. I really do, but that's just me. Mitch, we'll get your thoughts here. 3 contenders or 4 or 2?
Realistically, there's 3 contenders. But if we're talking value, I like that Spurs pick. In no realistic world do they walk away from this season with a Premier League title, though. Again, you could just Venmo any of us directly, Tyler, and that would be equally as efficient.
Plus
Yeah, there's
2,500.
three-
Listen, I'm scared of that, though.
You know-
I'm scared of that because
No,
the way
you know
this is how
something?
people talk about teams that win the league.
Yeah, you know something? All of you, I'll put your money where your mouth is right now. Let's go.
Mhm.
$20 each of you, and you guys are the bookie for each one of it. Let's go.
Done.
You gonna pay
Yeah,
out? You gonna
of course,
pay out if
sure.
you lose?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
done deal.
This is perfect. I decided to make a notes for this one to hold us all accountable for the terrible takes
Thank
we
you,
had.
Tommy.
I'm just going
Nice.
to add that to
Good.
the
Someone's
plan.
got to.
Good. Put a reminder for the last match week of the season
Yes.
for Tyler to Venmo us all $20.
Yep.
I mean, it's not going to be the last match week of the season. It's probably going to be in like March.
It
But
will
yeah.
be well.
Yeah.
Fair.
If we last till March before you pay that out, I'd take that.
I'm going to Sizzler. I'll tell you what, if Spurs come away with the title.
And I'm not
And-
booking that bet because I'm actually with Tyler on that bet. So you 3 are booking
Okay.
that bet. Okay. So there we have who are actually in the title contention race.
Sure.
Who do we think is going to win it? Is it going to be City for the millionth time in a row, or is somebody Arsenal or Liverpool, maybe
No.
Spurs?
The city decline starts this year. You saw the cracks forming last season. They were able to come out with a title as they always do, but the City decline starts this year, and this is our year. This is our year.
Does anyone know how long Rodri's out for?
Does anybody know if Arsenal are ever going to sign a striker?
That is where I'm going with you, Tyler. I don't know how long he's up for.
'Cause
Return date.
that's the literal only thing stopping City.
You think-
That's a,
No, it's not.
prove me.
He's their
until-
X factor.
De Bruyne has got one. He's got 1 foot in Saudi Arabia already.
That is true. That is true. KDB.
You don't
He
think a
had
guy
that
like
for-
Kevin De Bruyne
he's
wants to go out
he's
with a
for like
blaze of
much
glory?
last year, and they were fine without him.
Fine is
Yeah.
they weren't fine.
They've
I mean,
backdoor
they were top of the
shuffled
league.
their way to a couple of different titles during this stretch, but none were as like dicey and as questionable as last year's. I'm with Mitch. I think that we were seeing signs last year.
How
throughout
about
the
Last year was the
entirety.
least
when they beat
convincing I've seen them.
Liverpool by 1 point? Like that stretch with Liverpool. It's the same thing with Arsenal. I think a team that's
Don't
consistently
don't
challenging
don't
them.
do that. Don't do that. Don't
Same
do that.
thing.
Don't try to act like any of the Arsenal teams over the past 2 years have been anywhere close to what that Liverpool team was, accruing 97 points. Don't do that.
They were like
Don't do that.
5 points off.
You're right. It
And
was
they did not lose to any of the big six.
5 points is 5 points is a lot. I don't give a fuck who they lost to or who they didn't lose to. All I'm saying is that that Liverpool team was much better.
Tyler gets so defensive when you.
Yeah.
It's August. It's gonna be a long year.
Liverpool, yeah, that team was so damn good they didn't win anything. I forgot about that.
Oh my god.
Oh, keep the notes.
You know
out.
something? You know what I've noticed since we've started taking this seriously is that Tommy's been way more active. He's been way more engaged in the group text, and he's got hotter takes now.
He's
No,
coming at you.
whoa. Up until that last point, I would say yes. You're right. My takes have actually gotten less hot because I'm accountable for my bullshit.
Yeah, so you don't spew bullshit. You just spew facts and thoughtful little ditties, which is really just not part of this whole podcast. But anyway, yeah, good to have you here.
So we got on record right now. Mitch thinks City takes a step back and Arsenal wins the title. He's on record. Put that in the notes, Tommy.
I got it.
Mikey, who you got winning this thing?
I know we're talking about value, and I'm trying to keep all of my opinions rooted in that for the time being. And you're able to still get Pep Guardiola at plus money, and that is where I think City's still the best team in the league. I think Arsenal needed to address the 9 position this summer, and they did not, and that's really what it comes down to for me. They reinforced a defense that was already the best in the Premier League. So I just think that they're so. Listen, Edu, this is all pending because I still have the belief that Arsenal is in the market for a 9 late in the window. There have been a lot of leaks and a lot of conversations about, stay tuned, all this stuff. And there's usually not a lot of smoke blown by this new management group of Arsenal without a signing coming through. They know that they need front reinforcements, whether that's a stock of backup or a 9. As of this moment right now, August 14th, I had to look at the date, even though it's my girlfriend's birthday. I think Arsenal has not done enough to win the league.
I co-sign that. I think that City, they are going to take a step back at some point. Maybe last season was the start of that, but I still think they're the best team in the world. I think Haaland's going to have a better season as long as Rodri stays healthy, which, obviously that you can say that about anybody in the league. I just think this is probably Pep's last season. He's going to find a way to keep them, the one more year. I think they got one more year in them. I'm going with City. Arsenal's defense, you said it. I mean, it only got better. Even if you get a 9, I still think I'm going to stick with City. I guess it depends on who you get, but we'll see. Tyler,
if they signed Victor Osimhen, you wouldn't be like, all right, Arsenal.
I don't want him at all.
No, I'm not saying you want no, but I'm just saying of players who are available and who like the type of money that Arsenal are looking for in terms of value of striker.
That was going to be my question. Who do you guys actually think is available?
Exactly.
And I don't think there is anyone.
At soccer depth, I've heard Kingsley Coman, and that moves me, but that's not a striker.
Would you have taken Dominic Solanke?
No.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Oh. If Tommy transfers says yes, then I'm inclined to believe him. By the way, I can't take any take that Sam has seriously while he's wearing that Spurs kit when he's like, just agreeing or disagreeing with things related to Arsenal. By the way, this whole number 9 situation across the board, are we maybe are we looking too far into it? Maybe for a team like Spurs, like you have to have it, right? Because like you don't have the wing play in order to like actually survive over the course of a Premier League season. Saka's gotten better every single year in terms of goal score. I think he's gone 11, 14, 16 and tossed in close to double-digit assists as well. Does it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the system, right? Is when Kai's checking back like that, it allows for players to improve in that space, and also allows for a left 8 to do his job. I think Marino's all but done at this point. Yeah, I mean that is the new way of playing. 9s aren't doing as much as they used to in terms of goal scoring and have to do more contribution around the pitch. So I think that's a fair question. I also noticed that we talked about on this program that the quality at striker I think striker's having a weird transformative position moment right now, and there's just not a lot of I don't want to say quality because it's wrong, but there's not a lot of obvious, this guy improves your team type of transactions anymore.
Well, and here's the other thing too, is like, look at City. I mean, you sell Alvarez for 95 million. Your backup option right now is Foden in a false nine should Haaland either go down with an injury. And like, if Pep leaves at the end of this year, I can't see Haaland staying. Like, Manchester City's not and hold on a second, Manchester City's not a big club. If Pep leaves, the allure to Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Chelsea is still bigger with all those clubs than it is with Manchester City if Pep departs.
Yeah, clip that, note that. Manchester's not a big
Tell
club.
me, okay, but if you're going to do that and take it out of context, and Brian the intern, I'm talking to you, then like what? Then that's not fair. Because am I wrong in anything that I said?
No, I think I get what you're saying.
It's not a destination
I get
club,
what you're
if
saying.
that's what you mean. Big
I've
club.
been there. It's not very bright.
Well, but United has that lore where I think
Yep.
you're saying Guardiola has that lore, not.
Yes, it's not the roots of the club. It's not it's not the underbelly of the club that people are like, oh, I want to go be a big star at Manchester City if Pep Guardiola leaves. I don't think that many players throughout the world are saying that. You might get the biggest paycheck, but it's not attractive.
I'll allow that. I still like that clip that will probably get.
I'm
taken
going
out
to
of
disagree.
context.
I think any player in their right mind, regardless if Pep Guardiola is there or not, is going to find an appealing offer in playing for Manchester City.
It's
The
Saudi Arabia.
success
It's Saudi Arabia West is essentially what it is.
Sure, and you're playing in the Premier League. You're not playing in Saudi Arabia.
I think
Well, no, that's my
that's
that.
the lore is the Premier League more
Okay.
so than City. If in this hypothetical,
If Pep leaves, I could rattle you off comfortably 7 different clubs throughout the world that players would rather go to before going to Manchester City.
Depends on the player, depends on the situation. I hear what you're saying, but I think it's crazy to downplay the importance of City in this current football landscape. We're talking about
I
like
think when you're
lore
saying
and, like,
that, you're
history.
talking about Pep. I think when you're saying current football landscape, you are immediately alluding to Pep being the manager.
Yes, but you can't. But just because he leaves doesn't mean the club and the players that are currently at the club and the management and those fucking paychecks, those all stay. Pep is not the only reason players come to City. He's a very big reason, and he's one of the main reasons that they've had the success that they have. But just because he leaves doesn't mean the allure of the club leaves.
Or the money.
Or the money. And if you're getting Saudi money, who cares?
Exactly.
Mbappe just scored his Real Madrid.
Yeah.
so actually, I think I want to say something about Tyler here. You're in an interesting spot with your club going through the same thing,
I know.
and I think that's why it's front of mind. I do agree with you that I think when that inevitable possibility happens, there will be a bigger dip for City in some of the recruitment and points compared to maybe what Liverpool's going through. Like Liverpool's lost their generational manager, and we're still talking about them as being like the best value for winning the Premier League, minus the top 2.
Well, technically Spurs is the best value if you're going by my accounting here, but whatever.
Yes.
Are we ready to turn Tyler's buttons or press Tyler's buttons? I think
We haven't started
Spurs.
yet.
I think Spurs might finish ahead of Liverpool.
You know something? I was trying to be nice, Sam.
I know. I didn't want to
I don't
say
think
this
that's
because
called for.
we were on the same team there for a minute. It felt really nice, and I know we're now going to be enemies.
Save that for hot takes.
Well, we're talking top 4. The next question is, give me your top 4.
I didn't even get asked who I thought was going to win the
okay.
league.
Oh, who do you think is going to win?
Fuck.
Who do you think is going to win? Go for it.
I think that after everything that I just said about the Arsenal number 9 situation, I think that Arsenal will beat out Liverpool by a point or 2.
Oh, wow. So you got
City
third.
in 3rd, Spurs in 4th.
That's
City
a
third.
spicy meatball right there.
Yeah, you're welcome. Clip that. Suck it.
Clip that and suck it. Wow. So Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Spurs. Wow. I mean, I could live with that.
Tell me it's not the craziest thing you've ever heard.
It's not.
It's not.
And it's a matter of 2 to 3 points throughout the
Yes.
season. Like it's not it's not this huge gap like it was last year, where like it was 2 at the top and then everybody else. It's a 2-3 point swing. It's not the craziest thing I've ever
If
heard.
Liverpool get Zubamendi, then I think that they win the league.
That just got ruled out, I think.
Yeah,
Did it?
he's he locked himself in the inside of a room.
Yeah.
Slut.
I was surprised that it seemed as serious as it was. It sounded like he wasn't going to leave Spain at all, but you guys almost turned his head. Okay, Tommy, have you said who you think's going to win this season?
I said it in the previous one, but I'll just roll this into top 4 too for you. Don't you worry.
Bro,
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs. I think Mitch just said it. I fully agree that I think the points are going to be more evenly spread. I think some of the bigger teams are going to have slower starts with some of their key players having 70 plus games last year. And I am concerned about Arsenal's ability to find a replacement for Saka, especially if you don't get a number 9. That's I think the most concerning thing. And if that happens, I think one of him, you saw it a bit with Martinelli last year, Saka, maybe Rice, a couple of these guys along the back line, like math says they're in for a regression at some point. And I think that could be this year.
Okay.
And I actually really like Spurs so far. Shockingly.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you like Spurs. As long as it's not Mikey. I don't believe a word that he says. But speaking of Mikey, what was your top 4 in order?
City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea.
I'm glad listen, we haven't even mentioned Chelsea. We haven't mentioned Manchester United. We haven't mentioned Newcastle, Aston Villa. Like, so what is it about Chelsea that you like more than Spurs, United, Newcastle, Villa, these teams? I mean, so this is a team that is going to be, it's a new club. Feels like it's a whole new club. They got, brought in a new manager. They've got a raft of new signings. Just what are your thoughts on Chelsea and sort of how they finish ahead of some of these other squads?
It's one word. It's Nkunku. I'm on his island. I think that he's a great player. I've been a fan of his for a long time. He's been. I almost don't want to say he's had health issues. I feel like he's just not wanted to play, and now I feel like he's got something to prove. I do think he's gonna at least carry them to a start where we're looking in December as them being a team that surprise us in the right way, and then they'll naturally fall back into the pack and finish ahead of the best of the rest. It's my opinion.
Interesting. Well, Tyler, have you done top 4 yet?
Yes, I did.
Mitch?
Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Spurs.
Okay. I got City, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool. I think Liverpool. We'll see. I mean, Liverpool is obviously talented. I'm not really coming at you personally here, Tyler.
No, I know you're not.
But a new coach and a new system, you're coming off Klopp. There's inevitably gonna be some drop off. I think that's just my guess.
But let me pose this scenario to you in terms of like, when I say that they have continuity, that also comes with the concept of like they obviously have a different type of financial model than the other big 6 clubs, and they didn't want to splash in this market, and you can't really blame them, and it's not a surprise given what we've seen from them in the past. But there's a certain level of continuity and the balanced chaos that Slot's now talking about. It actually might be really well suited to where this group is, because the best days of Klopp's heavy metal were when Sadio, Firmino, and Salah were all in their prime and could all run for 90 minutes like bats out of hell. And we don't have that anymore. I mean, Diaz and Nunez can run, but like you can't ask Salah to keep doing that. And if you're going to try to utilize Trent, then it needs to be a slower pace. And I think that Slot's going to be able to get them out of that. This is all really going to hinge upon whether or not Darwin Nunez can bang in 15 to 17 goals. Is
he starting the season? Is he suspended for the fight in the crowd? I know we were all talking about that.
I don't know if that's going to trickle. I don't know if that's going to trickle into club.
Yeah, I would have thought that'd be international.
Club.
He might be suspended for the next Uruguay game or two.
Is he starting for Liverpool this year? It's like serious question.
I genuinely don't know. I haven't paid enough attention to their preseason games. I've seen highlights, but I don't know what that's looked like.
Because
they're
not playing without they're playing without a 9.
So
It's
it's
fucking
Jota,
up my FPL team.
Jota, Diaz, and Salah. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, if Jota can stay healthy for more than 12 games, then
Yeah.
the rest of the Prem has a really big problem, because when he's been sharp, he cooks.
So a
Five-star
couple,
set.
some thoughts here on some of the teams that, will be in the mix that none of us seem to think are going to finish top four. I actually like United a little bit this season. I like some of the moves they've done. I just think that they've gotten over this sort of hump, which, with all the negativity with Ronaldo, with all these sort of things that were going on in the locker room. I know Jadon Sancho is still that's a big question mark at the moment. Outside of that, I like some of the business they've done. I just think the team is decent. Like, I think this is a top four contending team. And I think they're going to benefit from the fact that Aston Villa is now going to be playing Champions League. That's going to probably take a toll on them. I think Aston Villa may take a step back this season, outside the top four, maybe even outside Europa. We'll see on that, obviously, but that would just be my take there. Newcastle. What are your thoughts, Mitch? What do you think on Newcastle? This is a team that, if they had their way, they'd probably be spending a hell of a lot more than they are right now, and they're actually being forced to sell some players. Where do you think Newcastle fits in? Are they a Europa team? Are they actually falling down below that?
I think they fall below sixth. I think they finish around 6 or 7. I do like Mikey's shout with Chelsea being, I mean, it's hard for them to have a worse season than they did last season, but I really like what I've seen from them in preseason. Watch them play against Real Madrid, and they kind of went step for step with them. Again, it's preseason. It's, there's not a ton of conclusions to be drawn from that. But with the small army of players that they have, and it seems like they're trying to completely reinvent their roster. I like them to Europe, seriously. And then for Newcastle, I don't know. They haven't moved me much. I don't feel like they've done a ton in this offseason to really take a step forward. I think Isak is in for a huge year. I've liked him. I've been high on Isak since he was at Dortmund, seriously. But I think Newcastle finish in Europe. I do not think they finish top four.
Two teams that we have not mentioned at all, which I think will probably be some interesting ones to watch this season. West Ham, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, we've talked about last week. They came off last season, basically the hottest team in the league. So Tyler, give me your thoughts on where West Ham and Palace finish here.
I think West Ham are going to be right where you expect them to be, anywhere between 9th and 11th, maybe even 12th. And then I think Crystal Palace, like we talked about last week, I think that they're going to be one of the surprises, and they're going to be that initial team that's going to jump off the page that might even be in the top four for the first 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season. And then they're going to slowly start to regress. But I do think that they're going to slip their way into either Conference League or Europa League this year.
Okay. Now Palace, I think there's probably going to be some people just taking them as a total wild card to finish something like top four. Is that in any way a possibility, in any way, shape, or form? Mikey, anybody who wants to sort of offer some thoughts on this, or is it, listen, they had a really hot period at the end of last season, but they're going to regress to the means, and they're a mid-table team.
I think that depends on whether Mark Gay stays or goes. I don't think they have the center back depth to play with that 3 across system that works so well for them. I think naturally Adam Wharton's going to take a step forward. I think he's a great player, and I think he links defense to attack in a really great way. But is Will Hughes really the player next to him that's going to take them into top four? The answer is no. I'll tell you that right now. Tommy's boy Munoz playing for a full season. That's going to be really exciting. I think he's a must for FPL teams for a lot of different reasons. Tyrick Mitchell on the wing is a good player. I think they have those two figured out. Kamada is kind of going to be that Elise role, right? Kind of a free playing player. He's got fitness issues. He's never played more than 55, 60 minutes for Frankfurt. Eze's great. Mateta's great. The question marks for me are, who are you going to partner with Wharton, and can you replace Gay if he leaves? If they can do that, they're a Europa team. I have them slotted currently for the cup below that. I forget the fucking name of that stupid thing at this point.
Conference League.
Yeah, Conference League. But I don't think that they're a top 4 side, but I don't think that they're a mid-table side either. I think they're right in that spot.
I think I see them as mid-table. I think they're probably going to revert a little bit. I know they were hot as
ship a
hell.
lot of goals. They're going to ship a lot of goals.
Yeah, and they've lost. They've lost some. If Gahey leaves as well, I mean those are two huge players that they'd be down. So there's not. I'm sort of going down the table a little bit here and looking at teams we haven't mentioned. Everton, Brighton, who has been kind of the sexy pick to at least sort of shake things up for a couple seasons in a row now. Where do you see, Tommy, where do you see sort of Brighton and Everton or any of these other teams? You can throw Bournemouth in the mix, Wolves, Nottingham Forest. If you want to throw the newly promoted in, you can go there too, but we'll get to them in a minute.
I think Everton deserves a solid mid-table season. For the
Which
first
they
time.
would have been last season.
Yeah.
I think people forget that they would have been last season if they didn't get all the, if the Premier League didn't bash them around a little bit. So I agree with you there. I think Everton is just a solid mid-table team this season.
I think Wolves has kind of kept much of their squad together, which I actually really like. And I think out of them, Bournemouth, Palace, they were kind of at the end of last year more of your kind of sexy pick. I think there's a good chance that they finish the highest of those three just because they haven't had to sell their star player or star players. I'd be very curious to see Brighton as well. I mean, you lose Pascal Gross, who I think was much of what they did with the ball, new manager as well. They have still a lot of the same pieces, but I'll be very curious to see how they do. And I think that is a big theme that I've started to notice too, is like with all these manager moves, it's basically like you're recruiting a profile for the 9 or a profile for center back. There's a profile of coach, how they want to play, that, we're fitting into their system. And I think Brighton's a very good example of that. And so I'm like selfishly thinking I'd love to see them do well because I like to see smart soccer plays, and that's a smart soccer play if that works out.
Did you know that Brighton's coach was born in Houston?
Yeah.
Hurtzler?
Did he go to college too, or no?
No, he came up through the Bayern Academy, but he's 31 and he was born in Houston. Just bizarre. Very bizarre.
Wow.
He's also tatted up.
Same.
Like full 2 or 3 sleeves.
More or less than Thierry Henry.
I think he for sure has 2 full sleeves. I have yet to see the rest of his body. So,
Sam, if Spurs end up winning the Prem this year, will you get a tattoo of Dominic Solanke's face on your ass?
Oh my God, that is a hell of a question right there. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'd have to.
Tommy?
I'm writing this in the notes. I'm writing this in the notes.
That's like the one thing that I never want to do the tattoo thing because I never really want to.
Nobody will have to see it except for your wife when you're naked, which I know isn't often. And you'll have something to remember this podcast and a Spurs Premier League winning season for the rest of your life.
Oh, why so?
I just want to make sure, Brian, as a note to put a quote card with no context, if we're doing that now, that says, I haven't had the chance to see the rest of his body yet from Tommy.
Oh man, I hate you for asking that question, Tyler. So surprise package. This from a good one. Who do you think? What club is going to finish much significantly better than where people think?
Fulham.
It's a good shout. I was about to say it.
Fulham.
Okay, we haven't really said anything about
Have people
Fulham.
been really down on them though? I don't think they were. I mean, they were pretty solid last year. They were a pretty.
They're bottom. They're pretty much understood at bottoms to be a bottom 6 side.
They finished 13.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is 13th out of 20? Is that technically bottom 6?
It's right there.
7.
It's not quite.
We're cutting hairs now, but yeah, I mean, people perceive them to be a lower half of the table team.
So what? Okay, so in your mind, where do they finish?
8th.
8th.
Wow.
Holy shit!
My answer, Sam, is not quite relegation to mid-table. Mine's Chelsea.
Yeah,
Well,
that plays with what you said earlier.
yeah, yep.
That Chelsea is the biggest question mark for me. Just sort of biggest wild card. Honestly don't know what to expect from them.
They
got a
could
new
get
manager.
relegated, or they could get relegated, or they could finish in Champions League spot.
I mean, I could see them finishing in Champions League spot. I could not see them getting rid. They got way too
Well,
much.
obviously they're not going to get relegated, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. So that was we got 2 shouts for Fulham there. Tyler, who's your surprise package in a sort of from a positive perspective?
From a positive perspective, I was going to say City finishing in 3rd. I feel like
that's fair. I'm going to go negative next. You've already answered.
All right, so I gave you my negative. My positive, Crystal Palace in either Conference League or Europa League.
I like that. I like that.
Tommy, who you got finishing significantly higher than what people just generally perceive?
So before I get to my pick, between Palace and Everton, which is from 10th to 15th, all these teams that we've just listed of potential surprise picks all finished within like 3 points of each other.
Right.
And there was a big gap between them and then bottom 4 or 5. Do I think any of those change? No. I think the middle of that table is pretty sure. I don't want to go anywhere near Chelsea and United doing well, so I'm just going to play it safe and go with West Ham.
Okay, I like that. I like West Ham coming in the season. I like a lot of the business they did. We talked about this last week. Fulkrug is a bit of a wild card for me.
That's an odd
my
one.
age.
Yeah, I'm not so sure on that one. But listen, I mean, there's not a lot of options for strikers out there. We've talked about it already. So, they went and got one.
Yeah, might as well just spend the money anyways, right?
It's a farce. It's a farce.
All right, now
the Premier League has created a desperate need for strikers so that they can pin more sanctions on teams for violating financial fair play.
We all know it's a down year for the league in general, so don't worry about that.
Mikey, right. Your comment has already been clipped last week. All right, you got your moment saying it's a weak league.
Well, I'm just saying we already know that.
I'm surprised, Mikey, you actually didn't bring up Wolves at all. You were loving.
I'm off them. I watched the other friendly. I hate them now.
I'm more on the Wolves train than he is.
You watched one friendly, they lost.
Yeah, I forgot that they don't have any center backs.
If we're basing our picks based off of friendlies, then Villa is going to finish in 15th.
I don't even watch friendlies. I legitimately don't even watch them. I just don't even care.
You'll bet on them, but you won't watch them.
I'll bet on them. I won't watch them.
There's that's why you haven't brought up Lucas Bergvall, because if you watch any of these friendlies, you'd be fucking all over the screen with that one.
You would.
I like a lot of the guys we got, but they're all they're bringing in all these kids that are they going to contribute immediately? Maybe, Archie Gray, another one. We'll see. He might actually be asked to play some serious minutes. And TJ and some of the Leeds guys were telling me that they really like him. So I'm excited, but we'll see. I really don't take.
Can't believe that's why you haven't been all over him. You haven't seen him.
Well, I mean, I've seen highlights, but
he's been too busy at Green Day concerts.
Listen, I'm in pain. Let's not even talk about that. Green Day and Smashing Pumpkins is still running through my head.
Jesus. Tell me you're a boomer without telling me you're a boomer.
Wasn't I'm not even a concert guy, but some of our friends are going. So
you say that you went to Vegas for U2 not too long ago either. You say you're not a big concert guy.
Vegas was for Dead and Company.
Dead and Company. Sorry.
Also, not really a Dead and Company fan, but listen, I mean, at the Sphere and at Wrigley, I can't really say no to that.
With Big Cat is the one that you forgot to throw in there. That's the real reason.
True. Yep. That was fun as well. We haven't talked about newly promoted yet. So the consensus here is that they're here for a cup of coffee, and Southampton, Ipswich Town, and Leicester City are headed straight back down. The odds makers think that Southampton have just a slightly better chance of sticking around than the other two. Anybody going to go out on a limb and say that one or more of these teams stick around?
Yeah.
Or more is tough. I think one does.
Okay. Would you have a pick for that one, or you just sort of generally you think one of these three?
No, I have a pick. I don't think for me it's not Southampton.
I like Leicester.
I think it's Leicester.
I like Leicester too. Yeah, I think if one survives, my guess would be Leicester.
They've been getting thumped in preseason, and I'm not the biggest Cannon fan, but I don't know, something about that team makes me believe they have the ability to stay up.
And
I'm gonna eat my words.
yeah, we could, but look, Steve Cooper, he's ready for some redemption. I think
He will not be there in January, but somebody will keep them up.
we're gonna get to the first manager sack soon enough. Tyler, do you think any of these three?
No, all down.
all
See you
gone
later.
back?
Yep.
He might not be here in October. Sorry.
You
Looking at the
their
fixture
schedule?
list. Yeah.
Mitch, any newbies survive?
I don't think so. I think if any, Leicester have the best chance, but I think all three of them head right back down.
What is that based on, though? Just the fact that they won the Premier League like 7 years ago?
No, I actually heard rumblings, a rumble and a whisper that they were looking to bring N'Golo Kante back, and I would love that little reunion. I don't think it would do much for him, but I'd be into it.
Grealish should go back to Villa.
100%. I want to see an exodus of players who have kind of gone out into the open world, found that maybe things are better back on the other side of the fence, and then go back to their like boyhood clubs, or at least the clubs that they kind of made it big with.
Sam, would you take Kyle Walker back?
Oh boy, that's
at his current stage.
Yeah, I mean, like, what is he, 35 now? I mean, he's
no,
still
he's not 35, is he?
He
Kyle
is
Walker's
really old.
35 or 36 years old.
He's
Yeah,
really old.
He's 34.
34.
Huh.
Okay. Yes,
Kyle
but
Walker
he's
is still one of the best right backs in the league.
so
Agreed.
fast. He's so fast. Yeah, I would take him back. He was good. He is good. He's probably got a couple more seasons in him.
On Leicester, not to take away from your conversation about the 34-year-old with several families, I think there are a lot of players on this Leicester team that we forget were very, very good Premier League players. Ricardo Pereira, I think, is somebody that is going to find a home in that league again. Wilfred Ndidi, Samare. It's a matter of whether they can score the goals, and Buonanotte is a step in the right direction. But I think they're going to be better defensively than the other two newly promoted sides. They're going to be boring, I think. But I do think that they may have a real chance at staying up. I like Leicester.
Right. I'm not expecting too many goals from Jamie Vardy at this point, but they got other guys too. Drewsbury Hall is a hell of a player. He was maybe their best player last season. So I like Leicester.
He's not there.
Oh, he's not? He left?
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Oh, fuck. Well, that stinks.
Yeah, if there's a player that left a club, probably at Chelsea.
It's good. It's a good guess. All right. Now we'll go
to the sackings.
Okay, actually, mine's Ipswich. I was gonna shut the fuck up, but I think out of those three, yeah.
What makes you say that? Because Southampton was a better team than them in the championship. Southampton has done more business, I would say, in the summer. Ipswich hasn't done a lot. So what?
Yeah, I think it's the continuity of manager and players is stronger than the rest of them. And I was between two. They're either finishing dead last or they're staying up, because that's been the trend for teams that have returned to the Premier League or have gone to the Premier League for the first time. Luton, Brentford, but then you also look at like Huddersfield.
But your theory, if applied to Burnley, should have panned out too.
They like one season. I'm saying like there's a long...
No. Without the this is the first time that they've been back in a while type thing. But in terms of the continuity, the coach, the style of play, players, and everything like that, like everybody thought that about Burnley. They were like, oh, of course they're going to stay up, especially with what they did to the championship the year before.
Yeah, agreed.
I feel like these predictions, more so than any of them, they're all insane and ridiculous, and nobody should be paying attention or spending their money on anything that we say on this. But teams that get promoted and whether or not they're staying up is the biggest guess of them all. There's no way to tell what went on in the championship, whether or not it's going to translate in the Premier League. Zero. And especially if you're doing business, like that shouldn't be the indicator of if it's going to be a good season either, because then that speaks to the opposite of
Tommy.
This
I have a question.
Romance pick, like for sure, romance pick.
Tommy, I have a question for you about Ipswich. I'm thinking out loud here, but is there a team? Do they have bad habits? Are they a Lego house? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, we'll go 18. I think 18.
All right, I think so too. That went right over Sam's head, but that's okay.
I was
He's hungover.
There's a lot of things going on in my head. None of them good. Okay, let's get to the sackings. Tyler, you were excited to talk about
Yeah. I'm looking at the
Sadness.
Chelsea. I'm looking at the Chelsea fixture list. So I think Enzo Maresca will be gone by. I think Arsenal is going to put a nail in the coffin on November 9th, and he will be gone on November 10th.
Whoa.
That is
I love it.
So they have a stretch leading up to that of at Liverpool, home against Newcastle, at United, home against Arsenal. They won't take a point from any of those games. And to start the season, just to get everybody's feathers all ruffled up, they're going to get smoked by City. They're going to draw at Wolves. They're going to lose at home to Palace and only get a point at Bournemouth. That's how their season is going to start.
Wow. That I mean, it's not that far fetched, just given what we've sort of seen from Chelsea over the years,
Yep.
all the changes that are going on here, and you know that fan base would be just in upheaval at that
Do you
point.
think I saw that they have Conference League qualification?
Yes, they have Conference League playoff after the City game.
Do you think they bring an entirely different 18? Like no.
You mean like buy an 18 in between now and then, or just the
No,
different?
Like they keep their 37 players and just two completely different 18.
How are you allowed to? When do they have to be, dare I say, roster compliant? Like when does that happen? You can't have 47 players on your roster.
You only have to choose what, like 25 or something? Like it's submitted soon, I just gotta think.
That's
It'll
what
be
I'm
in the next couple
saying.
days.
Yeah. A really good question.
I saw
Can't
Caleb
give them away
Wiley
fast
just went
enough.
out. Yeah, they got so many guys. So you've got Maresca on November 10th.
Yes.
Tommy, who's your pick for first manager sacked?
Between Gary Cooper and actually, I'll go on a limb. I do think Brentford have a really good chance of getting relegated, and he would be the first one fired. I think he's been there for a long, long time, and it's getting to the point where it's either amicable or just blows up.
He won't be unemployed for long, but I understand.
No. And I don't think it's because he's a bad manager. It's just
They'll need something new.
Go in a different direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the best odds are on Eddie Howe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the current favorite.
Is that because he would take the England job and that's linked to that?
That could maybe that plays into it. Because it only says next manager to leave.
Mm.
Oh,
yeah, we're saying
not to get fired.
I got one, Sam, for you.
Yeah.
The absolute funniest thing that could happen is for Manchester United to spend the whole summer not rebuilding under a new manager and fire Ten Hag within the first 10 weeks of the season.
How short a leash is he on?
That would have been my second one.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, opening with Fulham, like, you're at home, you're playing Fulham. After that, they go away to Brighton. Realistically, that's 6 points. Or if you're Manchester United, that's 6 points everywhere. You could see as soon as day one, if they lose at home to Fulham, this whole thing being like, what the fuck are we doing again? It could be as soon as day one.
That's why I didn't agree with what Sam said when you said like they've gotten all over all this bullshit. The first sign of any sort of flailing in the water from them, and Ten Hag is fucking gone.
100%. And what are his odds at, Sam, right now? Because I'm telling you right now, that's my best bet. If it's anything over 5-1,
he's the third. So he's the third favorite. Eddie Howe the favorite. Nuno Espirito Santo.
He's locked in. He's
Nottingham Forest. Eric Ten Hag third, then Enzo Maresca, Russell Martin, Steve Cooper.
Okay, so what are the odds on Ten Hag? Do you have it?
8-1.
Oh, give me that all day. They are one Smith Rowe goal away from already tweeting about it.
I knew you were going to bring out Smith Rowe somehow. I think that was a great move, by the way. I hope he does. I liked it.
I
I think it
swear
was
to
a good
God,
move too. I like that signing.
That's
Yeah, I did
yeah.
too.
putting that in
That
right
plays
now.
into what I said about them overachieving in people's
All
eyes
right.
this year. Also,
Nice.
what do you? I mean, I got to bring everything back to here.
I'm still
also
pissed about the Knicks friendship comment last episode, just so you know.
Yeah, you like that. Before Mikey even said it, that was my pick. I think Ten Hag's gone by Christmas. I think anything short of an absolutely flying start to this season is going to have people asking questions. And
So
I don't think
excited.
bringing Delict in this summer is gonna change much for them.
They have a favorable schedule too. To
I
start
know,
On the front half,
which helps.
which very much
Yeah.
helps.
I don't know about the Espirito Santo. Nottingham Forest is a team that just, they're kind of like Watford. They'll lose, send managers packing at the drop of a hat. I'm not so sure that he's locked in there. I think he might be the first one to actually get sacked, assuming that, if Eddie Howe leaves for the England job, that's a different sort of matter. He would be my pick for first manager sack. All right, player of the year this season. What are you guys thinking? Who you got, Mikey?
Kai Osaka.
Yep.
Wake
don't know what else I have to tell you.
Wake me when it's over.
15 and 12 Batman, I think, is what we're looking at for him. Came back early, came back angry. If they're going to be as good as everybody thinks they are, it's going to need to be him. So Martinelli looks like a fourth division Brazilian signing lately.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I just think Bukayo Saka is sick of it. And if it's going to happen, it's going to be him.
Okay, and
But what about Tommy's comment about the regression back to the mean? Because he
So-
literally
so-
has
Yeah. He's
gone up
had
every year.
he's had 25 goals and assists the last 2 seasons. Which
Yeah.
is basically, I don't see him keeping that up.
What kind of backwards
teams-
math are you looking at though? Where you look at that and you say, not again this year.
because of what he just went through. He hasn't had a fucking break.
He didn't play all summer.
I think they have to manage his minutes better, and I think that will lead to less production, like numbers wise, maybe not per game or whatever.
I think the majority of
seriously
his
think
minutes
they
are going to
need
be played in the Premier League. Well, I take that back now.
I don't know.
Okay.
He's such a good
All right.
champion. He's a good Champions League player, though.
Yeah, he is.
Also, like, okay, if you're a manager in the Premier League and you go away for the summer and you have to start game planning for these teams, the first thing you're thinking about against Arsenal is stopping the left side of the field or Arsenal's right side of the field. Where it's like, I don't exactly know what it would be for City, but I think that's like very clearly Arsenal's best strength. And if I were to go with an Arsenal player, I would go with Odegaard first.
I can see
That's
that
what
as well.
That's my pick.
Yeah, and I think he's my pick too.
He's my pick.
be boring? I'd go with Rodri. I think he's gonna he would have to carry City, and I think he will.
Who won it last year?
Was it Rodri?
It hasn't been
No, it was
announced.
Phil Foden. It was Foden. It was Foden. It was
Yeah,
Foden.
yeah.
I think
Rodri should have won it
How
last year.
funny
He
is
had as
that
good
now,
as he
by
had
the
as
way?
good as a season as he could have had.
Foden was electric too, though. But like, I think Rodri and Saka are the two guys for those teams that you deem irreplaceable.
So actually this gets to one of the things you just said when we were talking about with Saka and players not having time off. I saw ESPN actually just ran a long story on this. The fact that there were a lot of players just had zero off season. I know Julian Alvarez is a bad example because he's not in the Premier League, but he legitimately had zero off season. He went from the Copa to the Olympics straight to Atletico. I think that a big trend topic theme, which I was going to sort of get your guys' take on or thoughts on sort of some of these that might impact the season. The fact that there was so little off season for players, and I know it's been a thing for years, but it's getting worse. that is going to be a problem this season. It's going to be tired legs. It's going to be injuries, unfortunately, and I think it's going to help basically the bigger teams, the deeper teams, the cities of the world, who can just bring an Oscar Bob out of their goddamn academy, and this kid's on lights out. So I think that is a big sort of theme that is going to have an impact on this season. Is there any other things that come to mind, Tyler? No, Mikey? All right.
Oscar Bob did just announce that he is out for the season.
Broke his leg.
Serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
So that was it. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oof. That's
All right, they're finished. City are finishing in 4th.
We're moving them
Hey,
down.
And anyone remember what happened to Pedri after the last Euros/Olympics?
Yeah,
Like
he
run
got
to
hurt.
the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's gonna get worse. Now, so this was the last one. Wild card, just crazy, ridiculous, bonkers. We already got one from Tyler. Maresca being fired on November 10th, which is good. Any other sort of just wacky, ridiculous predictions that come to mind, Mitch? You probably got a couple.
This is the Tommy get your notepad segment out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm already locked and loaded.
This is just kind of like league wide anything.
Yeah, anything.
Darwin Nunez wins the Golden Boot.
That's not crazy. That's
Yes,
just
it
not
is.
It's Oscar
crazy.
Bob
It's
that
insane.
got hurt, not Erling Haaland. Just make sure we clarify that.
Good point, Mikey.
Cole
I'm
Palmer
sorry, I
won't.
don't-
So Cole Palmer won't get double-digit goals this season.
Oh,
See, I think I'm going the entire other way. I like Cole Palmer to lead the league in goal contributions.
and goal
He's my
contributions.
that's
And
one of my
Kunku's
best
on-
bets.
And Kunku will be on pens when he misses his first one, and then that'll end up with 8 for the season.
How many goal contributions does Jeremy Doku finish with?
Less than 20.
Oh,
I say 20 on the nose.
okay.
I was going way high. I almost said less than 15, but I changed it.
I like 14 and 2.
Who's Tyler, for you, who's the new manager? Everything always happens. Who's the odd man out of the Liverpool front rotation?
I think it's Nunez. I think Slot is going to turn him into not a mental giant, but like a stable.
Oh, you think he's in? I was saying who's the one that gets cut out?
That's no, I'm saying Nunez. No, but I'm saying he's going to do
He can
that
handle
by
it.
leaving him out. I'm saying he's going to force him to have to take advantage of his opportunities. And like, I feel like Nunez, because there's no real striker option, especially last year, he was just like, I can miss as many opportunities as possible. And I'm there, and my guys are going to create them for me that like, it'll come good at some point. I think that Slot is going to find a way to unlock him. Another ridiculous, crazy take for me.
Trossard this year or last year.
One of our most important players last
Is he
year.
gonna be the
Yeah.
first choice winger, or is he gonna?
Yeah.
I can see him playing Martinelli off the field. Yeah. I don't think we start that way, but I think by week 4, if Martinelli has not shown that he's back to his old self, then Trossard gets that spot.
Will Martinelli be playing for Botafogo come December?
I am. Listen, let's not go that far, but I am a little bit down. I've already said my piece about Chelsea. People forget that they finished the season 3rd in the form table. I think they are a top 4 side. I've just looked at the odds. They are minus money to finish top 4, so it's not exactly like I'm going out on a limb there. Ten Hag also will make that a disaster. Going down this list here, I think Bournemouth are going to be in a fight for their life. I think that's not a hot take, but I think people have started to get really used to them, and I don't think that should be the case anymore.
It did
don't
finish
think they've done
12th.
nearly
They
enough.
finished 12th last season. That's I know that crowd
Largely
of teams.
Okay.
So Bournemouth and Brentford, that's where I want to go with this. I know somebody said that Brentford is a team that might. Tommy, I think it was you that said that they might go down.
Yeah.
If we're going bold as hell, like I think, oh man, if I'm gonna say that this is a down league, then I got to put my money where my mouth is. Like I don't think Ipswich have it, but I could see. You know what? I renege on what you said earlier. If I have to make one bold prediction, it's gonna be all 3 promoted teams stay and 3 new teams go down. That would be a fun one. What's that bet?
Wow.
You get fantastic odds on that.
I don't want to do that.
So who would you send down then? Like Brentford, Bournemouth, and
Bournemouth are
Oh,
plus 750 to go down. That might be a bet on its own. Fulham have worse odds to go down than Bournemouth do. It would be people are looking at just statistically the three promoted are the three easy relegation
Wolves,
contenders.
Forest.
Yeah, it would be Forest, Everton, Wolves, Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth. Are the only ones real.
Hmm.
Bournemouth plus 750. I'm gonna circle that drain. I might end up taking that.
circle that drain with them. Okay. There we go. There's our season preview. Mikey's got a birthday to deal with here, so we got to move on to stoppage time. Put a bow on this episode. So first, we'll do Ivan Tony's best bets. And so I know you guys probably have some futures that you might want to throw out. I'm going to stick with my normal overtrain. That's how we do it around here. Last week we went 2-2, not great, but listen, we were in preseason form. We're rounding into shape here. I'm feeling good about my picks here. Again, we're not going to do the 5-a-side because this is coming out on a Thursday morning. So I'm going to give you 4. Thursday, we are going to go to the Conference League, where Legia Warsaw and Brøndby, they just played a absolute basketball match last week, and they are going to go over 2.5 easy, probably over 3.5. That's a lock. On Friday, we're going to go to one of my favorite leagues. They're back in play here. The Netherlands Eerste-Divisie, so the second division. Excelsior is hosting De Graafschap. And both those teams score and get scored on. Saturday, we're going to the Denmark in the second division. So not the top one, the second division of Denmark. Esbjerg and Vendsyssel. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're going to make you money. Sunday, we're going to go to the top league in Iceland, where Akureyri and Stjarnan are playing.
Sure.
Yeah, right. I mean, obviously that's going to be over. So there we go. 4 winners, 4 big winners. Let's go get rich.
Can't wait for that.
So now we'll go to well, you can go whatever you want. You can do one of Tyler's 16 leg parlays. You can go futures. You can do whatever you want. But Mikey, what are you going to hit us with this?
Yeah, I can't believe this is offered. I'm looking on FanDuel, and say you had $1,000. I think putting 500 on the winner runner-up bet of City 1, Arsenal 2 at plus 320, or Arsenal 1, City 2 at plus 430 is, I don't understand where that loses.
Liverpool or
no, I heard you, but I don't understand where that loses.
Solanke gets a tattoo on my ass.
Yeah, so I think for your money, splitting that bet with a big wager and letting your season ride out is comfortable. The other one I also would say, if you're looking to spend on futures, the winner / top goal scorer bet, you could do Arsenal / Haaland for plus 350, which is fun. You get to root both ways a little bit. But I think winner runner up, splitting that both ways is my best bet. And I honestly think that I'm going to be investing my own capital into that. I'm not a financial advisor.
Good qualifier. By the way, I didn't give my player of the year. I think Haaland bounces back.
Yeah, no, he's going to have
17 billion
40 goals.
Yeah. And he's my player of the year. Okay, Mitch, what do you got for Ivan Tony's best bet?
If you like Sam's shout for Haaland bounce back season and become player of the year, Kevin De Bruyne at most assists is you're at plus 350 here. That is an insane value. But if you don't feel like going with the favorite there, the next value pick I see is Cole Palmer, finishing the league with most assists at plus 1,100. That is, I mean, the bookies are telling you that Kevin is going to have 28 assists this season, but Cole Palmer, with the amount of weapons that he has around him, especially towards the end of the year when I'm assuming Chelsea will have figured out a little more of a consistent lineup, Cole Palmer's a staple. And whatever they're going to do, if he is healthy, he plays. He's going to find the feet of just about everybody on that team once. He's going to have 2 assists to him, 3 assists to him, 1 to him, 1 to him, and he's just going to dish them out. So I don't know if you can bet on goal contributions, but particularly assists. I like Palmer to lead the league. That's some crazy value there. I know it's not going out on a limb, picking the top 2, but Kevin or Cole Palmer to lead the league in assists I think I'll sprinkle a little bit on both of that.
Okay. De Bruyne, I feel like he's got another injury in him. He's at that age now, and he's gonna, I don't know if I like the De Bruyne there, but I can see Cole Palmer. That guy.
But he's the only guy capable in this league of racking up 4 or 5 in a game.
It's true.
And we've seen him do it coming back from an injury last season. There's who's saying that he can't do that against Ipswich.
Fair point. And he's got Haaland, and Haaland's going to be scoring a million goals.
Yeah, he's okay.
Tommy, best bet?
I'll go with Isak, Golden Boot.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
a big odds.
Like that. We didn't talk much about Newcastle this year.
You can get that plus 15 to
that's
1.
dovetailing with my fantasy prem team. So
He's a must-have, by the way. We'll do a fantasy. I mean, listen, at your own will, don't take our advice. But just gonna say, I was pretty good last year in FPL. I focused for 38 weeks.
Tommy was pretty good too last season in FPL, if I remember correctly.
Let me check.
I was not very good, so do not listen to me on that. But what you should do is go sign up. By the way, if you're listening to this, go sign up for FPL. We will be talking about it as the season goes on. We'll give shout outs to the top couple people on the standings. So be sure to go sign up for Sam's Army Podcast League. And there is our best bets. We will now head to Goa's time, everybody's favorite segment, especially Mikey's. Unless Tyler, you want to throw a best bet at us.
I would like to throw in a best bet.
Okay.
Your life savings on Colorado Club America. Hammer the over. Hammer. Leagues Cup.
Love that.
Saturday night. Yep.
Love that.
Colorado who? Sorry.
America.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's a great pick. Okay. Goa's time. Feel like Mitchell, you lead us off?
I don't have a great one. I have a fun little stat. My Goa this week is Matthew.
Oh, what anticipation.
Wow.
He has, for the last 9 seasons of his career. Was that bad?
Yeah, no, say it again.
We just don't know who it is.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Because for the last 9 seasons, I know all that anticipation for that.
No, we still didn't hear you. Still don't know. It cut out again. Just put it in the chat. Chat.
That's crazy.
Overtime
you can hear me now. My Goa for this week is
Yeah.
My Goa for this week is Matthias de Ligt. Because for the last 9 seasons of his career, he has started the season under a different manager. Despite playing for only 3 clubs during that span, he has had a different manager every season since 2016.
That rocks.
I like that. I like that business. It makes me a little nervous though if Vincent Company is willing to sell a 25-year-old center back. That makes me a little nervous because he would know sort of a good center back when he sees one. So that makes me a little nervous, but I do like that move for United. They obviously needed to fill in the back line a little bit there.
No, what do you mean? The Butcher? He's going to lock that down.
Selby, they lost Varane. Shaw. Didn't Shaw just get injured again? I think I saw. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, he's going to miss the start of the season.
Oh, geez.
He is frail.
Okay. Matthias de Ligt is Mitchell's Goa. Tommy, what do you got for us?
I've got 2. So I'm kind of sad no one commented on my Venezia Kappa jersey.
I was going to, but it would have taken us off.
So this was my backup option. My first option was another Kappa jersey that just hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah. Yep.
So that is my number one Goa is Overtime FC's inability to ship items.
Can I also just jump in and say that that's also my Goa because I literally every single time that I've gotten back from a road trip during Leagues Cup, I am gutting back to my apartment and just expecting there to be a box on my front doorstep, and I am let down every single time. Every time.
I've checked twice.
They dropped on Saturday. We're filming this on Wednesday. They dropped on Saturday, and I have given your addresses to the merchandise team. I will push them as soon as I get out of this meeting room.
Damn.
Tyler's hot.
Along with my 3 other jerseys that we.
Those are in the mail.
Yes.
What 3 other jerseys does Tommy get that we don't know about?
I paid for those.
Oh,
he was at that pop-up shop.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Goa, Mikey, what do you got?
Fabrizio Romano.
Sitting on this one.
No, I mean I found some other records, Sam, and I want you to tell me. Let's play a game of who tweeted this. January 19th, 2004, in a now deleted tweet. Adrian Rabiot to Barcelona. Here we go. Agreement reached for $10 million a year. He'll leave PSG. Who do you think tweeted that?
Fab.
It's
Tom
deleted
Motor.
now, so there's no way to tell. Gini Wijnaldum is set to join Barcelona June 2024. There's nothing agreed with Bayern. He wants to sign for Barca. Now deleted. That would also be fab. And as of recently, his Zaha is all but set on a move back to Palace. And then 5 hours later, tweeting that the deal is off and deleting the old tweet. I just have such a spot in my chest for people who are these ITKs. I mean, granted, he is in the know and he does know things. If you get a scoop wrong or if somebody leads you the wrong way, you cannot delete that tweet. That to me is out of this world irresponsible. And what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? Fabrizio Romano, you're the Goa. That's as bad as it gets. Ornstein forever.
Team Ornstein. Tyler?
I would like to give a real Goa, not actually just bash Mitch because of something that has nothing to do with him. Moise Bombito of the Colorado Rapids, okay? Montreal-born Canadian international who started out in community college at Iowa Western before eventually
Sweet.
transferring to the University of New Hampshire, okay, where he was a standout alongside Inter Miami's Yannick Bright, okay? And in less than 2 MLS seasons, he earns himself the largest transfer fee for a defender outgoing in Major League Soccer history, heading over to Nice, and all wrapping this up with Mikey's Goa tweeted as a here we go from Fabrizio Romano about 24 hours ago. So congratulations to Moise Bombito, and it just continues to show that like there is a real tangible and significant place for college soccer in the American soccer pyramid, and Moise Bombito continues to be just another example of that.
Good shout. Good shout. Okay, I got a couple honorable mentions. One goes to Ashraf Hakimi, who last week, when Morocco was up 5-0 on a bunch of kids from Egypt, just hit an absolute bomb in the 87th minute. Like just I love that. It was like a welcome to the real world kids move. Just like this is how it is. Nothing is given. Everything's earned. And if you turn off for a minute, we're gonna go up 6-0 on your ass. So well done to Hakimi for giving them a nice little life lesson. Also to Yves Bissouma, honorable mention for posting on his own Snapchat. I don't know how you do this. He posted, doing nitrous on his own Snapchat. It wasn't like, somebody got a picture of him or a video of him and posted on there. No, he posted on his own Snapchat. So smart. Real smart on that one.
But you need to also tell people that it has just recently been banned before he posted that as illegal. You're not allowed to do it. Like everybody was doing it in England, and then it was made illegal, and then he went out of his way to post it on his own social media of him doing it.
It was already frowned upon, but now it was made illegal, and
yes.
So it made extra dumb. But I'm going to go positive on my go. I'm going to give it to Mal Swanson, aka, or at least formerly FKA, known as Mal Pugh. So the women, of course, as they do, won the Olympics. They are the best team in the world. All that talk about how the U.S. is falling behind the rest of the world. Well, maybe not so much. And by the way, Emma Hayes probably should get some sort of recognition. She's awesome. And her speech, I'm going off tangent here, but like her speech, I think it was on NBC after the game where she was just like, sort of explain what her connection is to America and all this stuff. Like I'm fully in on Emma Hayes. She seems awesome. But my go is Mal Pugh, or Mal Swanson, excuse me. So she wrote in her 6th grade, what do you call those? Book. My brain just went broken. At the end of the school year, you give out a book, right?
A yearbook.
A yearbook.
Oh my
You're
God.
right there. I was waiting for you to get there.
Close. I was so close.
Sam's Army 3.0.
We're right kicking, there. Man. She wrote in her yearbook in 6th grade. My favorite memory of 6th grade was outdoor ed. I want to be on the U.S. soccer team and win a gold medal. And then she went out and did it at the Olympics. So shout out to her and the rest of the U.S. women who brought the gold back where it belongs here in the good old US of A. All right, there we go. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Mikey. We'll have some changes you might notice. Hopefully, we're going to sort of professionalize this a little bit, moving in the right direction. Make sure everybody knows that Sam's Army is the place to be for American soccer. We will see you next week, but actually not yet because we still have the chat with Tim Parker. So stay around for that. See you guys there.